guys, it's your girl, Sam Manuel, and you are currently listening to Monday with Emmanuel. How we doing? Hope we're doing good. I hope you guys enjoyed the first installment of Monday with Emmanuel. I think we covered a lot of good ground there as far as an intro goes. Our beautiful new podcast, today's episode, we're going to be talking about being a homewrecker, having your home wrecked, side chicks, and everything in between. But we're going to talk about them and how we overcome them or how we don't overcome them, which mainly on this side, my given story, we don't overcome them over here. We drop people. I was in the car, which is where I get a lot of my solid ideas or solid in my brain. And I had to hop on here because I wanted to remember to talk about something. So I'm going to go start to finish with my experience with home wrecking, cheating, side chicks, things of that nature. Not so, I want to stay clear of the word side chick too. And we're going to use the word side piece because a guy could be a side piece as well. And I'm not going to say side guy. So we're just going to use the neutral term side piece. I wanted to open with this story. It's related to my family, and I think where, a majority of home wrecking and cheating actually runs in my family, which is very sad to say. Unfortunately, I wasn't the one to break the cycle, but the cycle ends with me, so that's always good. The story I wanted to start with is actually probably the earliest home wrecking story I know, and that is about my grandfather. So rewind to the 1900s. Let me set the scene for you. My grandmother, God rest her soul, passed away from cancer, another thing that runs in my family, leukemia. She was laid up in the hospital, and my grandfather, I don't want to say he's a piece of shit for this, but I might. But that's also kind of disrespectful to say, but the story is fucked up on its own. My grandmother's in the hospital and he's visiting her, and he gets a phone call from his side woman and leaves the hospital to go see her. He was seeing her the whole time my grandmother was in the hospital, was rarely by her side, and yeah, he was seeing this woman even before then. So there's a lot to unpack there. But that's the short of it for the most part. That's where my villain story originates. That happened to my poor granny. It sucks. Imagine being in the hospital with cancer and your man isn't by your side. Oof. Big L. Sorry, Pops. Let's fast forward to my mom and my dad. Holy fuck, I could have a whole episode on that alone. So my parents are the definition of La Toxica or El Toxico, I don't know, whatever, but they are the most toxic people. I don't know how they ended up together. I don't know what their origin story is. Quite frankly, I don't give a fuck. I don't care how they met. I used to hear little tidbits of how they met here and there, but I don't care. What matters now is they're not together, and that's really affected me heavily in a lot of positive and negative ways. More negative than positive, but I digress. I feel like I'm a better person for having to go through trauma. That's toxic in itself to say, I think, but it's true. If you go through trauma, you come out at the end and you're really tough, but you're also kind of a fucking dick. So my parents are really toxic. My dad cheated on my mom. My mom, quote unquote, cheated on my dad. I don't know what to call that. But my dad got a lot of bitches while he was with my mom. A lot of them. There's so many names. I don't even know where to start. And I don't know why, what made him cheat. I don't know what his story is. It'd be good to find out what that story is. Maybe I'll have him on here. I don't know. I don't understand cheating, to be honest. Have I been involved with people who were cheating? Absolutely. Should I have shut that shit down before it even happened? Yeah, I'm a guilty party, but I also am a human being who craves love and attention and affection. So if it's being given to me, I am definitely taking it. So there's that. Back to my mom and my dad. My dad had a lot of women. I think maybe that's possibly where I get it from. I don't know. But yeah, my dad definitely like cheated heavily on my mom. And I don't think my mom was any better, but she raised me, so I can't really talk a lot of shit about her. She did her best, and people get lonely, you know? You have to find someone that you're compatible with and that can make you feel better. Loneliness is definitely a killer into the human psyche. If you're lonely, you know, people go crazy from being lonely. Look at all I digress, but homeless people. Singular homeless people out here. You could lose your marbles from the amount of loneliness that is out on the streets. Anyway, that's another topic for another episode. I'll share with you a story about my parents that dragged my mental health into the ground. This is actually the story of my first panic attack as well. I was young. I want to say I was still in middle school when this happened, but I could have been younger. It's possible. But I think middle school is a safe bet. Anyway, I was having an argument with my mom one night, and I don't know how this always got brought up, but she always accused my dad of cheating and told me he was cheating. And, you know, I just never believed her. And I still, to this day, don't believe a lot of things that she says. But, you know, she's my mom. And until the day she dies, I will have her, back. I'll take her side. Or, I don't know, I'll try to if I had to. I like really was combating her this night, and I was like, no, not dad, where's dad? You know, I was still really hopeful that my dad was going to come around and, you know, be there. And that was never the case, actually, just foreshadowing. On this particular evening, I guess she got sick of me not believing her. So we got into the car and we drove to the hotel that he was staying at with this woman. And I actually saw my dad cheating on my mom with another woman. I saw it with my eyes. And, you know, young me, I was actually pretty traumatized by that. I can't forget it until this day. So my mom was like yelling at me. She was like, I told you so. I told you he was doing this. I told you he was doing this. You don't believe me? Now you see he was doing it. My God, what a fucking nightmare. Oh, so it's not funny, but now it kind of is. Anyway, I was quiet the whole ride home, I said nothing, not a word. My mom's going off. I told you he was doing this. I told you. Now that you see it, do you believe it? Do you believe it now that you see it? Just fucking going on and on and on. And I don't know what happened in my little young brain, but I fucking snapped as soon as we got home and walked through the door. I snapped. I started crying. I was throwing myself against the wall. Things that I'm not proud of, but it was a different time. Anyway, I was throwing myself on the bed. I was crying. I was like hurting myself, and she had no idea how to react to that. None. She had not a fucking clue on how to react to that. I finally calmed myself down. Something that I've learned to do throughout my whole fucking life, because no one else is going to help you, so you got to help yourself. I calmed myself down, and I was just really fucking sad. And then she didn't say anything to me for the rest of the night. I will never forget that night. There's a lot of like one-offs like that I'll never forget, but that one definitely sticks out in my noggin. Boy, wow, that was, I unpacked a lot there. Anyway, welcome to the second episode of Monday with Manuel. Hope you enjoyed those little appetizer stories, because there's a lot more to look forward to. Any which way, I'm going to share a couple more stories. So this is basically how I continued the cycle of being a homewrecker, or Wrecking Homes. Disclaimer, I have never cheated on any of the relationships that I've been in. I've always done the right thing and left. However, I can't say the same for a lot of other people that have partaken in activities with me while they were in a relationship. I can't speak on them, but I can speak on me. And I can say that, yes, it's something that I should not have condoned. But, when you're out there and you're looking for love and affection and attention, it's like, at that point in my life, it was kind of like I'll take whatever I can get type of deal, because I was so young and I feel like I had a very traumatic childhood. But it was I'll take whatever attention I can get from whoever is willing to give it to me type of deal. But as I got older, I realized, like, that's not it, sis. That's, like, definitely 100% not it. It gets exhausting. And I said this on my Instagram story a couple days ago. It's tiring being a side chick. It's emotionally traumatizing, and it's exhausting. You can't keep up with the running around, the sneaking around, the lying, the having to be available last minute. It's exhausting. Find someone who will prioritize you and put you first over anything. I've always wanted to find. I never asked to be a homewrecker. It kind of just the title kind of fell into my lap because I've messed around with a few women who, had homes with other women/men. It just happened. That's it just happened. Did I have meaningful relationships or meaningful interactions with these women? Yeah, sure. Of course I did. I'm a people pleaser. Well, we're learning to lose that habit, but I'm a people pleaser. I'm a rug. People walk on me. I'm definitely a pushover. But we're working on eliminating those characteristics, those traits in me, because that is also not it. I am no longer a homewrecker or anything like that. Right now, I'm looking for one of two things. I want someone to prioritize me and put me in a relationship and be my person. Or I want a very romantic affair. Have y'all ever seen Bridges of Madison County? Yeah, that's it's a high quality affair. If you haven't, check it out. Meryl Streep and some guy. I don't know his name. Hold on. It's I see the actor's face in my head. I'm going to Google it real quick. Yeah, Bridges of Madison County. I always saw that for myself, actually. I never saw myself. Oh, Clint Eastwood. I saw his face in my head. Clint Eastwood and Meryl Streep, Bridges of Madison County, it's an older movie. It came out in 1985, but I definitely recommend you checking out. I love a good romantic love affair. I love it. It's just it's not wholesome, but it's romantic. So that puts the negativity of homewrecking aside, I guess. I don't know. I've already imagined, like, the affair that I want to have with a woman. If I do ever return to the homewrecking side of the world, I just picture a beach house, and suddenly the both of us are there, and it's just. I always knew since a young age the normal, like, oh, I met you, oh, we're dating, oh, we're gonna get married, oh, we're gonna have a kid, oh, we have a house. Like, I always knew that life was never for me, but I never suspected that my life would be what it has been, which is fucking chaotic and wild, just fucking wild. I will say this. A couple years ago, I did think I was going to have that with someone. We dated for 3 years, and I asked her to marry me. I did. That did happen. But all of it feels like a dream, to be honest, because I never thought that... I guess I just never thought that I would be the person that had that. And maybe at that point, I didn't think I deserved a life like that, because everything was always, like, fucked up. But... yeah, I did. That's probably my longest relationship. I dated someone for 3 years. It was fun. Honestly, it was a good time. Being in a relationship is a good time for the most part. You have to find the right person to be with. And that's like so easier said than done though. It's like, oh, you just have to find the right person. Yeah, okay. Like how? It's just very complicated. It's especially now. I had an easier time finding a girlfriend when I was younger than I have now. I don't know if it's because I've gotten pickier or like the availability is just sparse. It's a train wreck out there. Women today, everyone is either already married or has kids and is settled down, and I feel like I'm the last one out there still looking for my person. And I don't know what my person's doing right now, but I hope she's well. So throughout the last week, I've been asking you guys to write in your like homewrecker stories, and I'll be honest, I got a few of them. There were 2 stories that really like stuck out to me, so I'm going to read them, and then we'll discuss after each story. This is one of 2 of the homewrecking stories that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed them because they both have severely different endings, and they're definitely a good topic of conversation. So we'll talk. I'll read the first one, and then I'll read the second one, and we'll have a little chit chat. So this is the first story. I was in the happiest relationship of my life. I thought I was going to get married to this person. Never doubted them. Had nothing to worry about. It was us. It was little fights here and there, but nothing we couldn't come over. Come to our first year anniversary, something screamed at me to check their Apple Watch. It's always the fucking Apple Watch. I've seen this 100 times. Anyway. And lo and behold, I was being cheated on, and the person knew about me and everything. Ugly. And they didn't care. When I confronted both parties, they got mad at me, and the person tried to fight me multiple times because I found out. I beat her ass twice, by the way. Woo! Yeah, girl. My homewrecker ruined my home and made me never want to trust again, and fuck love. The end. Fuck, bro. See, when I read that, I was like, fuck. So many things happen when third parties get involved in your relationship. I feel like a lot of situations or a lot of things can just be solved by talking, like the 2 of you. If a third party is not involved, like if you get mad at them because they don't wash the dishes or they constantly soak the floor after they take a bath or a shower, it's like, God, those things are so easy to solve, like, or they don't help as much around the house. Like, I feel like a conversation or communication can solve all of those things. However, when a third party gets involved in your relationship and there is sexual, interactions involved and emotional interactions involved, that person starting to rely on that other person to get like their emotional needs met and their sexual needs met, it's like that's a whole nother ballgame. That's cheating, and at that point you should just end it. You should just fucking end it. Cheating shouldn't even fucking happen, honestly. It shouldn't even happen, and people that apologize for it and say it was a mistake, no, it's not a mistake. That shit is fucking calculated as fuck. Trust me, I've been on the other end of it. The sneaking around, the having to time everything, the only allowed to call you when I'm out of the house and not near that. It's all fucking calculated. It's not a mistake. You're not sorry. You're sorry because you got caught. That's why you're fucking sorry. Do you know that it just destroys any trust that you have in that person? And trust me, trust is easy to lose and very, very difficult to gain. There's no, in a situation like that, there's no turning back. There's absolutely no, too much has happened. I'm sorry. Forgiveness who? Apologies what? No. You can't at that point. At that point, you have to look at each other and be like, all right, this is too fucking much for both of us emotionally. Let's check out. Goodbye. And that's really all you could do. It sucks. The third party The home wrecking, if your home gets wrecked by a third party, that's it. And you know what sucks even more? It sucks when it's family. Like your cousin or your brother or your sister. I've seen a lot of that. Significant others cheating on their partners with their family. It's like, oh God, that's so fucking gross to begin with. And then you confront them, and how do you feel? The confrontation's really for you. You know, it's to make you feel better. For me, confrontation, yeah, definitely would make me feel better. The not saying anything is for someone who wants to be a bigger person. And honey, I may physically be a big person, but mentally I am not. And I will get the last word, and I will see you in hell. On the other side of that coin, sometimes saying nothing is the best medicine. If you don't react to something that's happening, it's gonna make them think like, oh God, what now? Or, you know, did they care about me? Or the people that stay in relationships where cheating is happening, it's like, how do you learn to trust that person again, that they're not gonna do that again? And the people that stay, you know, sometimes they're seen as weak if you stay. I heard this quote the other day. Everybody always asks, why didn't you leave? And no one ever asks, well, why did you cheat? Reasoning behind cheating is so, I want to say disgusting, but it is disgusting. Reasoning behind cheating are so low vibrational, to say the least. What are some reasons for cheating? Let's list them off right quick. You are not emotionally satisfied in the relationship that you're in right now. You are not sexually satisfied in the relationship that you're in right now. Maybe you feel like your partner doesn't get you. If you put all of those reasons in a pot and you boiled them, communication. That's the reason that comes out the other end. Communication. It all boils down to communication. Why do things happen? Because you're not communicating. You're not talking. Who cares how it sounds or what it sounds like? Start talking. Doesn't matter. Start communicating like you're a toddler, and you know what? You'll grow from there. It'll just grow from there. You'll get better at it. The more you communicate, the more you talk, the better you'll get at communicating your needs, your wants, your desires. You'll get better at it. You will. If you start feeling a certain way and you keep bottling it up, it's going to lead to a much more negative output. Imagine your partner does everything you don't want them to do. They leave their shoes out. They make the floor wet. They don't turn the lights off at night. Like just everything that fucking pisses you off, they do it. And what if all of that leads to cheating? And it's possible. It's definitely possible. You find yourself talking to somebody else about all the things your partner does that you don't fucking like. And then that person's like, oh, whoa. And that's how that shit happens. That's how easily that shit happens. Squash it before it becomes a thing. I left a lot of relationships because I communicated my needs and wants and nothing happened. And that's fine. If nothing happens after you communicate your needs and your wants and your desires, leave. You did what you could. You communicated where you could. Leave. Don't cheat. There's no fucking reason. Even if you're tied to them personally, financially, even if you're living with them, it doesn't fucking matter. You can leave. The universe has your back. I promise. If it's the right thing to do, do it. It's easy to just say something and then squash it. An easy conversation. There was one more story that I wanted to read, which I love. This is my favorite. This is my favorite submission. Are we ready? It's top tier. It's my favorite, so save the best for last. Let's get into it, yeah? I met a girl who was engaged. The relationship was heading south and turning abusive. Ended up being there for her and also getting involved with her while they were still together. After 2 months, she left this person. Crazy ride. We moved in and dated officially for 3 months. After 3 months, we did something crazy and got married. Just ran off alone and said, I do. This was 4 years ago. We're still happily married. Fucking A, bro. This is my dream story. This is my dream story right here. I don't know why I encourage this. Do it. I encourage this. Your soulmate is what's the quote? Don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband, or don't don't let your wife stop you from finding your soulmate. Don't. I love this story. I love it. It's definitely on the other. This story is definitely like on the other spectrum of the first story, but it's so fucking lit. Like, good for you. One, this is how it happens. The relationship you're in turns south. You lose emotional and physical connection to the person that you're dating, and there winds up being a third party there to console, to be there for, to listen, to be the shoulder to cry on, to physically be there for them, mentally be there for them. Oh, you don't need them. Leave them for me. Yes. And you know what? The third party person sometimes is a hell of a lot better than the fucking piece of shit you're with. And these are stories where I don't want to say I condone home wrecking, but like, this is a lit story. And it's very rare for it to happen, but it's lit. It's like straight out of a fucking movie, straight out of Hollywood. It is rare that something happens like this. It's a successful home wrecking story. And the person ends the messages with me with, some homes should have never been a home. Oof. Some homes should have never been a home. That's a deep one for me. Let's wrap this up. let's wrap this up. That was my that ended on a good note. Some homes should have never been a home. I think that's a good takeaway for this episode. The universe works in very, very mysterious ways, and it will continue to until the day we die. Everything happens for a reason, and the path you're on is the path you're supposed to be on. Of course, there's things like manifestation to get your path going faster. Think about the things that you really want. Manifest the things that you really want, but your path, in my opinion, is already made for you. This was all supposed to happen. Whether to build character or to get you to your person that you're supposed to be with. Love is an incredible thing. Being with another person in an emotional and a physical way is just beyond any friendship, I think, that you could ever have. Whew. What an episode. What a wild fucking ride. Anyway, I have quite a few personal home wrecking stories. There's one that I'll just never fucking talk about because it's probably the worst one that I've ever been involved in. I'll plate some of those stories for another episode. I just wanted to take the time to thank everyone who tuned into the first episode of Monday with Manuel, and I hope you enjoyed listening to this installment. Be sure to tune in next Monday, March 28th, where we will be discussing the relationships that we have with our parents and how they affect our current relationships with other folks. All right, guys, have a great day. Bye.